This tutorial is divided into two parts, and this first one would cover the drafting and cutting, while the second part would cover the sewing process. Now, if this video is what you're interested in watching, then watch right through to the end. These are the fabrics that I will be making use of. I have the Ankara fabric at 2 yards. From this Ankara fabric, I'm going to make a skirt out of this, and I have the net here at 1¼ yard. For the drafting of the front part, I'm going to start by marking the bust points, which is 10 inches. Then I'm going to mark the under bust line, which is 15 inches. But in this case, I'll move up by ½ inch, that is 14.5, so that the bust area won't appear saggy. This will be able to push the bust up. Next, I'm going to mark the waistline. After that, I'm going to mark the top length and the hip line. Then on this side of the paper, I will go ahead and mark the same measurements. Afterwards, I'm going to connect all the points together. After connecting, I'm going to label these lines so you know which is which. From the center front here, I'm going to come out by 7 inches for the half shoulder width measurement. Then I will come downward by 1 inch for the shoulder drop. From that 1 inch, I'm going to mark the armhole depth line. To get your armhole depth line, divide your bust by 6 and add 1.5 inches to your measurements. I'm going to connect this like so. After connecting, I'm going to label this CL. Next, on this chest line, I'm going to mark 7 inches, which is for the half shoulder measurement. Then I will draw a straight line upwards. Afterwards, I'm going to mark the neck width using 3 inches, and I'll mark the neck depth of 3 inches. Then I'm going to connect the neckline using my curve ruler. After connecting the neckline, I'll also connect the shoulder slope like so. Coming to the armhole depth line, I'm going to divide this line by 2. Then I'll go inward by ½ inch. Next, on the chest line, I'm going to mark the quarter bust measurement. Then I will use my curve ruler to connect the 3 points like so. Now we have our armhole ready. Next is to mark the half bust span measurement. This is your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So I'm going to mark this down straight to the hip line. Then I will connect downward like so. Then on the under bust line, I will go outward by 1.25 inch, and on the other side, I'll mark 1.25 inches as well. Then from the bust point, I'll come down by ½ inch. After that, I'm going to use my curve to connect these points. To get the over bust line, I'm going to come upward by 2 inches from the chest line. I'm going to rule this line and label this over bust. So this depends on how covered you want your bust area. Then I'm going to mark 0.75 on this side and 0.75 inch on the other side. Now for smaller bust size, you should modify this to about 0.5 inch, and for the under bust area you can actually use 0.75 inch on both sides. I'm using a sweetheart neckline here, so this is where you're going to determine how deep you want the sweetheart to go. So from the chest line, I'm going to come up by ½ inch. Then from there, I will also come out by ½ inch. Next, I'm going to use my curve to connect this way, and I'll also connect the other side like so to meet with the armhole. After connecting this upper part, we are going to connect this side. So see the way I place my curve, you're going to place yours this way and connect upward. For the side here, you're going to take the measurement of what you have here and divide that by 2. Next, you're going to place your curve ruler like so and connect. Use the fuller part of your curve to get this area. the cup will be able to accommodate your bust by the time you are done. Afterwards, we are going to place both ends of these curved parts like so. You place them and check if they are well rounded at the base. If they are not well rounded, then go ahead and redraw that area. Now to the shoulder, we'll divide this by 2. So after dividing, I'm going to connect that point to meet with this bust span line. Afterwards, I will connect the other legs upward. Next, take the measurement of what you have here and replace that here. So when you are doing the replacing, measure from this curve, not from the straight line. After that, we are going to redraw this. Now on the chest line, take the measurement of what you have there, that's the dart area. And as you can see, we have the exact value on the side. All right, so the initial armhole that we have, we won't be using that. And I'll also go ahead and redraw this top part so that it meets with the new armhole like so. Next, I'm going to come now down to the top length and mark the dart intake that I used for the underbust. I'll go ahead and connect the lines. So coming to the underbust line, we are going to mark the quarter underbust measurements and we are going to replace the dots that we used up there. That's the 2.5 inches altogether. At the waist area now, I'm also going to mark my value, but this time around, I'm going to minus 1 inch from this because I want the waist to be snatched. So if you don't want yours to be too snatched, then you can minus 0.5 inch from yours. I'll go to the hip area and do the same thing there. I'll mark the quarter hip measurement and replace the 2.5 inches as well. Once I'm done marking, I'm going to connect all those points together. Next is for us to style the cup so that we get the 3 parts cupped corset. At the center here, I'm going to come down by 2.75 inches. At the front parts, I'll come down by 2.5. At the side, I'll also come down by 2.5. Now, this depends on your preference. You can style your cup however you want it to be. You can come down by 2 inches at the center front area. So let's come now to the hemline. So at this point, I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches. After coming up by 1.5 inches, I'm going to connect using my curve like so. Then I'll go ahead and cut this out. So guys, you won't believe I almost forgot to add my bust dart. Once I'm done cutting this, I'm going to do that right away. I'll find a way to fix the bust dart into this. So you can see the way I'm cutting this. Just follow the way I'm doing this. It's really simple. This is not difficult to do. For this upper part that will serve as the yoke, you are going to remove this dart area since we have replaced that at the side. When you put them together, you realize that one is longer than the other. So I'm going to bring them together like so and insert a new paper beneath them. After that, I'm going to redraw this. So this will serve as the new curve now for the lower one. Now you can see this fits perfectly right. Next, I'll go ahead and cut this. This is for the front yoke. Next, I'm going to cut out the cup part. Then the part where I labeled one, you can see we've split that into 2. So I'm going to place both of them this way on a piece of paper. Then you can see this top part that has space there. Take the measurements of what you have there. I have the measurement there at 0.5 inch. I'll divide that by 2 and I'm going to mark 0.25 on this side and on this other side. So we are going to cut out that 0.25. I'll quickly blend the 0.25 inch to the sides and cut them out. Next is for me to just trace out this onto the new paper, and that is how to do this. So we have the new paper here, and I will label this. I'll write S on the side to signify that this is the side and the other side is CF, which is center front. Alright, for the shoulder tightening, I want to come downward by 0.5 inch at the shoulder line here. So I'll come down by 0.5 inch and connect this way. So I'm going to cut this. This would also give the bust that push-up effect that we want. So guys, like I said, for the bust darts, I've actually put all of this together so that I can draw my bust darts. So from this bust line here that we have, I'll come down by 2 inches. 2 inches is a standard measurement. To get your bust darts, you take the length of your front as from your shoulder to your waist, and you will do the same thing for the back. After that, you minus what you have at the back from your front measurement. So whatever value you get, that is what you will use for your bust darts. After marking, I'm going to fold this way and tape this down. Next, I'll reconnect the side. So since we have just folded our bust darts, we'll need to redraw the cup, that's the 3 parts. So I'll come down here by 2.5 like we did in the first place. After that, I will just reconnect this way, then I'll cut this open. So this is how to go about this. After cutting this, I'm going to place both of these pieces onto the new paper that we cut to see if we still have the same thing, and I'm glad we still have the same thing there. We are done with the drafting of the front parts, and these are the pieces that we have here. Next is for us to draft the back pattern. For the back, I'm going to mark the chest line, the waistline, and the top length. So for the waistline, I'm going to come up by 2 inches. You remember we used up 2 inches for the bust dart. Also the top length, you come up by 2 inches. So the waistline, I used 18 inches for the front. For the back, I'll be working with 16 inches. Next, I'm going to draw the bust span line here. Afterwards, I'm going to take the shoulder measurement, then I'll come down by 1 inch. On the chest line, I will also mark 7 inches for the half shoulder width measurement, and I will connect upwards this way for the armhole depth line. Coming to the center back, I will come outward by 3 inches for the neck width, and I will come downward by 1.5 inches for the neck depth. Then I'm going to connect the neck width and the neck depth. After that, I'll connect the shoulder slope. Then for the armhole depth line, I'm going to divide this by 2 and I'll go inward by 0.5 inch. On the chest line, I'm going to mark the quarter bust measurement and I'll connect the armhole this way. From the chest line now, I'm going to come downward by 1 inch. Then I'll come up by 2 inches at the top length. On the waistline, I will mark 0.5 inch on both sides and I will connect this. So this would be for the darts. On the waistline, I'm going to mark the quarter waist measurement and add 1 inch for the darts intake. Remember, I minus 1 inch from the waist to snatch that. Afterwards, I'm going to mark the measurement that I have for the top length, that's the circumference there. I did not mark the hip line because I now know the circumference that I need for the top length, so I got that from the front part. All right, if you do not have the circumference for your top length, that is where you should make use of your hip measurement. I'll come up by 1.5 inches and connect using a curve. So for the yoke, I'm going to come downward by 1.5 inches from the neckline, and from this part I'm going to draw a curve downwards to the half bust span line. So you can use your curve ruler to do this, or you can use a free hand. From the chest line here, I'll come down by 1 inch and I will connect this way. From the center back, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches. So this will be for the lacing. So this area is where we will be fixing our eyelets. Alright, for the shoulder, I'm going to come downward by ½ inch and connect like so. Afterwards, I'm going to cut this out. For the lacing, we won't be discarding that part where we marked 1.5 inches, okay, because we want that to cover the back up, since we won't be making use of a modesty panel. If you want to use a modesty panel, or if you want the back to be open, then you should discard this part that I labeled lacing. But if you want that part covered up and you don't want a modesty panel, then you have to keep this part handy so that you will use that to cover the back part. Alright, I'll go ahead now and label this up so that we do not mistake one for another. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This is all about the drafting of this dress. I'll see you in the part 2.